The world teeters on a knife's edge. What was once a simmering tension in the shadows of global geopolitics has now erupted into a very real, very present threat. The quiet corners of the Pacific, once a haven of maritime trade and tranquility, are now poised to become a stage for a new kind of power struggle. Forget the conventional battlefields of the past. The future of warfare is unfolding in the vast expanse of the ocean. Russia's strategic miscalculations in Europe are now coming back to haunt them, and a formidable alliance is rising to challenge their position in the Far East. This is not just a story about naval exercises, it's a collision course of nations, a high-stakes game with unpredictable consequences. Stay with me as we navigate this complex web of alliances, strategies, and potential flashpoints. But remember, the real story, the unexpected twist, is hidden until the very end. So stick around. This video will explore this critical situation in 7 chapters. Chapter 1, The Shifting Sands of Power. Russia's decision to invade Ukraine marked not only a tragic humanitarian crisis, but also a profound shift in global power dynamics. The Russian military, once perceived as a dominant force, found itself entangled in a protracted and costly war of attrition, exposing vulnerabilities and limitations. Simultaneously, the geopolitical landscape around Russia was changing. NATO's expansion into the Baltics and Scandinavia effectively constricted Russia's strategic maneuverability in Europe. Moreover, Russia's influence in Africa, particularly through its involvement in Syria, faced increasing restrictions, further isolating Moscow on the global stage. For many nations, it seemed like Russia was perpetually facing one setback after another. Yet, while these events were unfolding in the West and Africa, a far more dangerous development was brewing in the East, a potentially more significant challenge that would test Russia's strategic depth. The seemingly relentless decline of Russian influence was setting the stage for a new strategic confrontation. Chapter 2, A New Alliance Emerges in the Pacific. While Russia's focus remained largely on Europe, a decisive plan began to take shape in the Pacific. The United Kingdom and Japan, sensing an opportunity, began to forge a closer alliance, heavily supported by the United States. This wasn't merely a diplomatic move, but a calculated strategic decision aimed at containing Russia's naval ambitions in the Far East. This alliance, born from shared concerns about Russian expansion, sought to dramatically alter the balance of power in the Pacific. For years, Russia was considered a naval superpower, with a considerable presence in the Pacific. However, the conflict in Ukraine had strained resources and exposed weaknesses, creating an opening for a strategic countermove. This isn't just about containing Russia in the Pacific. It's about ensuring the security and stability of the entire region. In essence, this alliance is designed to prevent further Russian naval expansion and exert a counterbalancing force against their influence in the Pacific. It is designed as a direct response to Russia's increased activity and is meant to send a clear message. Chapter 3, Naval Drills and Assertive Posturing. The strategic partnership between the UK and Japan has begun to materialize with concrete actions. Starting in 2025, they have committed to a series of regular military exercises in the Indo-Pacific region. These drills, designed to enhance interoperability and readiness, will involve not only the UK and Japan, but also the United States, acting as a key guarantor. The stated goal is to increase the security of Russia's Far Eastern maritime zones, particularly through a series of exercises that will extend into the North Pacific Ocean. These drills are not just a show of force. They are a practical measure to solidify the alliance's defensive capabilities and demonstrate their resolve. The deployment of Royal Navy assets to the region is a critical component of this effort. Ships such as HMS Spey and HMS Tamar, already permanently stationed in the area, will be joined by the HMS Prince of Wales, an aircraft carrier that will lead a powerful strike group. These actions go far beyond typical military exercises, and this is a clear signal that the alliance is ready to counter any aggressive Russian action. Chapter 4, The Ghost of Tsushima and Cold War Echoes. Japan's concerns are deeply rooted in history and geography. While often overlooked in the West, the fact remains that Japan is a direct neighbor of Russia, and their relationship is fraught with historical tensions. For decades, Japan has confronted Russia across the Sea of Japan and the Sea of Okhotsk, and they were a key battleground during the Cold War. As geopolitical tensions between Russia and the West have resurfaced, Japan has once again been thrust onto the front lines. This is a return to the strategic dynamics of the Cold War, with a focus on naval power and submarine warfare. The memory of the Battle of Tsushima, where the Japanese Navy famously defeated the Russian Baltic Fleet over a century ago, looms large. The Tsushima Strait, a critical passage for naval movements, holds a particular importance for this modern standoff. As in the past, it served as a route for Soviet fleets entering the Pacific. The historical weight of past confrontations adds a layer of intensity to the current tensions. Soviet submarine tactics in the area during the Cold War also influence present-day concerns and strategies in the region. Chapter 5. Submarines, Fortresses, and a Renewed Threat. The focus on submarines is a critical aspect of this renewed confrontation in the Pacific. While Russian ground forces in the Far East have been reportedly redeployed to Ukraine, their submarine force in the Pacific is undergoing a significant modernization. This modernization includes the expansion and upgrades of nuclear ballistic missile submarines, a development that has not gone unnoticed by Japan and its allies. The increasing activity of Russian nuclear ballistic missile submarines north of Japan is posing a challenge to the deterrence capabilities of the US-Japanese alliance and demands a robust response. In the Cold War era, the Soviet Union developed a submarine fortress strategy to protect its ballistic missile submarines in areas like the Barents Sea and the Sea of Okhotsk. Now, this strategy appears to be undergoing a resurgence in the Pacific as the Russian Navy rebuilds its capabilities and seeks to regain its past influence. The renewed emphasis on submarines is a clear indication that this region is quickly evolving into a crucial theater of a very complex power game. Chapter 6. A Growing Alliance and China's Shadow. The strategic cooperation between the United States, Japan, and now the United Kingdom seeks to counterbalance not only Russian, but also the growing naval power of China. The addition of the UK is part of a calculated expansion of the Western alliance aimed at creating a more comprehensive and robust bulwark against perceived threats in the Pacific region. The joint military exercises with the UK in 2025 are a crucial step in this direction. Russia's decision to allow China access to regions like the Sea of Okhotsk marks a significant shift. This is further intensified by the participation of China's military in Russian strategic exercises. Joint patrols and exercises between the Chinese and Russian navies in these waters send a chilling message and highlight the growing interconnectedness of the Russian and Chinese militaries. As the activities of Russian submarines increase in Japan's northern waters, and as China and Russia increase their military cooperation, the complexity of the situation only intensifies. This convergence of threats places a massive strain on the already stretched resources of the Japan-US alliance, necessitating a larger, more international response. Chapter 7. The Unexpected Twist. The future in the Pacific is not set. The combined naval might of the US, Japan, and the UK is a formidable force, but Russia is not one to back down, especially with China's increasing support. A potential flashpoint is inevitable, not in the form of a head-on naval engagement, but rather through covert operations. In a world already on edge from multiple conflicts, this new alliance is a game changer. Yet Russia has a plan. A coordinated cyber attack targeting critical infrastructure such as undersea cables is in the planning phase. The focus isn't on conventional warfare, but on disrupting global communications and energy supplies, creating chaos, and leveraging a new kind of asymmetrical warfare. The timing of this strike? Likely during one of the joint exercises in 2025, a moment when the combined forces would be too focused on the military drills to react adequately. This attack is designed to bring the situation to the breaking point, exposing critical vulnerabilities and the potential for a rapid destabilization of the region and beyond. The balance of power in the Pacific is at its most unstable point, and anything can happen in the blink of an eye. We've navigated through a complex geopolitical landscape today, exploring the rise of a powerful alliance in the Pacific. As the world changes around us, it's critically important to keep up with new developments. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more insights. Important note, the conclusions of this video are at the end, so please watch until the end to fully understand the situation.